Welcome back to the Journeys in Business series. I'm Jess, owner of Jess Creatives, and in this series, I'm sitting down with entrepreneurs to hear about their journeys in business and lessons they have learned. Hey, Jereshia, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, so to kick us off, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about what you do?
So my name is Jereshia. I am an income strategist and founder of the Goal Getter Group. I help women who work a 9 to 5 build additional income streams outside of their job. So I just really believe that more women should have like additional finances in their life. Nobody should be living on fixed income. So I just help individuals identify their unique gifts, help them figure out how to package that, position it online so they can actually generate income. That's like a little tidbit about
Just a little tidbit. That's just like barely touching the surface.
I love Cold Stone ice cream. I love long walks down the school supply aisle at Target.
Yes.
I want any Labradoodle one day.
Labradoodles are super cute.
I know. Or
I love
any kind of doodle.
Any kind, yeah. But I also agree with the long walks down the school supply. I'm not even going to school, but can I go get some new school supplies?
Yes.
I was buying like a backpack to donate the school supplies to like people in our community, whatever. And I was like, resist the Sharpies. Resist. Like, don't you, Jessica, you already have enough Sharpies. I have like I have a whole bundle just like that right here.
This is just one of the containers.
Man, I'm glad that I'm not alone in that. So what is your favorite part about what you get to do?
Probably the favorite part now is that I'm doing it full time.
Yes.
So I just recently quit my job. So I was a little bit more background. I have a degree in civil engineering, started working at a utility here in Michigan for the past 3 years, doing like pipeline engineering, working in natural gas. Managing like these $400-500 million pipeline projects. And the Goal Getter Group was something that I was just doing on the side, kind of just as just an additional passion of mine. And then it really started to take off. And 3 weeks ago, I quit my job and resigned. And then I've been on this full-time entrepreneurial journey. And it's been just really exciting, the personal growth I've been experiencing because of the transition and the transformation that's happening. But also, I think so many of the women in my tribe, I'm very transparent. You know that. Like, probably more transparent than I should be about what's online. But I think the coolest part is other women seeing me walk in my truth. I'm noticing it's really empowering them to be like, I can do this too.
Yeah.
That has been the most amazing thing. All the messages I've been getting and just seeing other women that I've been following for a while, them showing up differently for themselves and them letting me know, like, Jay, just seeing you build this bridge. You didn't have to take this big leap. You didn't have to just, I think a lot of online is like, you got to quit your job, like, screw corporate.
Right.
I love corporate.
Right. That's what
my job. I don't want to just go jump off a bridge and like, woo,
yeah.
I built a solid foundation that just allowed me to have the freedom to choose, not based off of the money in my bank account, but based off of just really, how do I want to live my life and how do I want to spend my time? So just the whole interpersonal transformation has been really exciting right now. And then just seeing how me walking in my truth is empowering other women around me to do the same. Like, I love that domino effect that's going on. So
yeah,
right now it's probably like the most like,
yes.
Awesome.
So was the Goal Getter Group your first like entrance into entrepreneurship?
No, I've always been like a little hustler. Like from my younger years, my lemonade stands in high school. I would drive to like, this is so terrible. I'm just going to be honest on here. I don't know if I've ever said this anywhere else.
I'm so excited. I don't know what's about to come out of your mouth.
But I lived in like the suburbs, so I would drive to like the hood and get knockoff True Religion and Evisu jeans and then sell them out in the suburbs to like all my rich neighbors.
I love it.
And
Gary V would be so proud.
So I've always had some little hustle to me. But the first time I got into entrepreneurship was my senior year of college. I didn't know that my financial aid could run out. I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
And the school called and was like, hey girl, you see this like balance you have? Yeah, you're out of financial aid and you need to pay. It was like $13,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, and I grew up without my parents. I've been on my own since I was about 17. Like I couldn't just call home and be like, hey,
can I have $12,000?
Deposit a sister, So I've always been into fashion, and I started an online women's clothing store my senior year of school because I'm like, I don't know how else I'm going to come up with money.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided like, screw it, I'm going to just try to start a business.
Yeah.
And it actually was really successful. Like I was doing a million things. I'm getting an engineering degree, interning for the company I just recently left. I did auto shows for Chrysler, so I was traveling all the time modeling. And I ran this like business off of my Instagram on my phone and made like 50 grand in like 14 months. Paid
what?
I know. So that was my first like real, like I have an LLC.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was like that let me know doing that and then graduating with the engineering degree. I'm like, I can take on the world. Like there's nothing I cannot do.
Yeah.
So that was the first introduction, like real introduction to what it can mean that you can have an idea and literally create something and then make money off of it.
Yeah. But the key is that you actually acted on it.
Oh
like, my God. I love that. First of all, you could have been like, well, guess I'm not graduating and like quit and like gone and worked at Subway and just been like, oh, sorry, like I can't afford $12,000. And instead you were like, all right, so I'm going to create a store. I'm going to do it. And you didn't like half-heartedly do it. I don't think you can half-heartedly do that and make $50,000.
No. I'm like, I had no other way.
Right.
Like, I'd be damned if I got through to just one more year of engineering and I graduate.
Right.
Calc 1, 2, 3, 4, physics 1, 2, like those are prereqs. Like I'm like, I was walking across that stage.
Yeah.
But like to your point, you just had to take action. Like it was a Sunday night when I read that email. By the next Sunday, I had a website, my first 7 products, my LLC, my retail sales license. Like I had no business background. Like at that time, I had no mentor.
Right.
I had $2,000 in the bank. I had saved up for modeling, and I just threw it all. Like I'm just like I had Wi-Fi and I had a laptop.
Yeah. So how did you like? Were you like buying things online and then reselling them through Instagram? Or I don't know anything about like.
I was purchasing wholesale first.
Oh, nice.
Out of California. So the thing that sucks about that is stock. You have to buy in bulk. And after like 2 months, I was buying shoes at first. And, you have to buy a case of shoes and it's like 5.5 to size 11. And I would have these 5.5s and these 11s still sitting in my house. I'm like, who the heck? So
Come on.
Right. I'm like, where are the 11 size footed women out here? Who want this particular like red rhinestone?
Right.
Like, whatever.
Come on, ladies.
But I realized like, how can I reduce this risk? Like, I don't have time to, because I'm like, I had a very short window in which I had to pay for school.
Right.
So I realized, like, okay, how can I get rid of having the stock issue and reduce some of my risk? Because now this is just money sitting in my apartment. Mm-hmm. So I ended up switching my business model very quickly, and I started just selling dresses. And I ended up finding a manufacturer out of Thailand. And I emailed him like, hey, I'm going to be buying your dresses on a really consistent basis. Is there any way that I can just get them at wholesale price without buying bulk? And he was like, he just told me, yeah. And I'm like, all right.
Okay.
And I don't think that's normal in the world, but I didn't know what was right or wrong or what I could or couldn't ask for. So I'm like, I didn't reduce my risk. So that was perfect because I was now not buying from a middleman, buying direct from a source. So I was buying dresses for like $20 to $40 and selling them from anywhere from $150 to $300.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't have to buy the dress until somebody bought it from me. So it was pure profit.
Oh my gosh.
So I would buy, I would promote my stuff on Instagram, and there was this lady, I tried to find influencers. And this is before it was like as popular as it is now. But the lady had like a Instagram account, and it was like a fashion Instagram account. So it was a bunch of different stuff. But this was highway robbery. Like I was paying $20 a post.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't think she understood. I didn't understand.
Like, we're just winging it right now.
I would pay her $20 a week. And she would post one of my products, and I would give her the image and the caption, and pretty much she would post it. I would get like 16 orders within the next hour.
What?
Crazy.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
crazy. And that's how I did it. And I would just promote on my Instagram. I would sell like locally at school, and through her posting and then people reposting their outfits, like it just organically grew.
Yeah.
So, but
I love it.
I had no idea what I was doing.
You're like, I don't.
Biggest thing is have a plan. Like I knew I need 12 grand by X date.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to quickly pivot and adjust. Like I think being able to pivot and having like you got to bounce back. Like stuff ain't working,
just keep tweaking it. Yep.
keep tweaking, keep going, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I love that. Such a good little tidbit right there. You have to be able to adjust. That's huge in business.
And I think sometimes we get so caught on like, well, this is my plan. It has to go in this order.
Yeah.
Where is like the structure? And it's like entrepreneurship is like the wild, wild west. There is no there's examples, but there's no two journeys are never the same.
Right. Exactly. So you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier when you're talking about the Go-Getter group, but what is your big why? What drives you in your business?
So like when I'm dead, I always said that. Like,
when I'm dead, I was like, whoa.
I want my legacy. Like when I'm gone, this is what I want to be known for, but I want to be known for increasing the representation of women, particularly women of color in higher level leadership roles, both in corporate and in entrepreneurship. And kind of how that came to be. I mean, like I don't know, kind of being, I always felt like this oddball, like just in life. Cause I was like the girly girl, but who was a tomboy. Like I loved playing in the mud. I didn't really like hanging out with girls in elementary school and middle school. I'm like, I want to go play football and play kickball with boys. But you know, like that type of thing. And then in high school, college, I was modeling, but I was getting an engineering degree. And it was like,
total opposites.
Polar opposites. Like what? You know, most engineers, this stereotype is, you know, they're antisocial. They have the little pocket protectors. Like, okay, and here I am, like what? Like with bright pink clothes on, and you know, too many wigs to go around. And then getting into corporate, I don't know why, but I just thought it was going to be like more women, more people who look like me. I don't know why I thought that, but because the numbers just, being a Black female engineer, I'm in a 1% in the country.
Dang.
And when I got into corporate, I've always had these aspirations of like, you know, taking over the world, you know, like I still do.
Yes.
But there was such a lack of representation of just women of color. Like, I'm like, why is there nobody who looks like me, who has a position of influence, power, like control, money? Like it doesn't exist. And that's when like my fire really got started. Cause it's like, I want it to be easier for the next woman who comes in this door after me. I want her to have a carved out path with some level of intentionality in regards to if she wants to be a manager, an executive director, a VP, sit on the board of directors of a Fortune 500, it doesn't seem like this impossible thing because there's nobody that looks like her at the table. So that's when I was like, well, what can I be doing right now to make an impact, to move the needle? And I think, and I started researching like, okay, where is the gap? Like, why aren't we sitting there? It's not that we don't want it. It's not like women don't want to lead. Like,
right.
First to the nation. Like,
you're right.
They're phenomenal. But they say that a consistent thing was a lack of business and financial acumen. And I'm like, okay. And kind of for my business stuff and people just asking, well, how did you do this? How did you do this? I'm like, if people can build a business, you can run a boardroom. You understand how to sell yourself. You're confident. You're able to like be able to speak on what you're good at and be able to communicate that effectively. You being able just to sell, period. Like you're selling in any environment, regardless if you're selling an idea and trying to get funding internally or trying to get your husband to convince him that you guys need to go to Paris next month. Like it's all about how you position the offer. Yep. All about understanding their needs and how to communicate it. And I just realized that if teaching entrepreneurial skills and just building a business and like helping empower women in that space makes them a better leader in every environment. So that was my way of kind of part of my way of what I use the Go-Getter group for is like, how can I start moving the needle right now, even though I don't have the title or the influence of like a VP or CEO, because I always thought that I needed that title to have the influence and power to make systematic changes in an organization. And I'm like, well, what can I do now? So that's what fuels every decision I say yes to, is all about that legacy piece.
Yeah. I love that you just said that you didn't have to wait until you became a VP. Like, because I think that holds back so many people. Like, well, I'm not an influencer. Well, I've only been in business for 2 years. Well, I've only XYZ. And you were like, nope, I'm going to start making change right now. Like, you didn't wait until you had this quote unquote, influence or title. Like, because you can make change where you are at right now.
And there's people around you who like, exactly. Like, just, you don't have to wait until your Oprah status to go change the world. Change the world one heart at a time.
Yeah.
And I think we get so caught up in like the vanity metrics. Like, I need more following. I need a bigger email list. I need more people. And it's like, you better be happy and grateful for those 12 people who are rocking with you right now. And like, that's 12 lives you're changing.
Yeah.
I just look at about like the domino effect. Like, if those 12 people go impact one more human, then you get that like large scale influence or that large scale impact that we're all craving. But it all starts with one human, one heart.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of times when people are like, I only have 12 people, or I only have, I only have this many people on my list or this many people following me. And I'm like, yeah, but when it's smaller, because I'm one of those people, I don't have a huge audience. Yeah. But when you have that smaller audience, you become more connected, and it's easier because those people become your cheerleaders. Yes. And they're like, I have clients who like, I just had someone email me and they're like, hey, like I just sent so-and-so your way. And then like they had a question for me. And I'm like, that's like the 5th person they've sent me in like the last few months. Like, and it's, even if it's not like they become a client, but it's just like I send them to your blog post or whatever. And I'm like, she hasn't even hired me yet. Like, she's only like, and she's already sending me people. So I think it's really cool when people, they have this quote unquote smaller audience. And I'm like, that there's like gold mine in that, because you can build up a really loyal following. And then, like you said, they can go help people, and it just becomes this domino effect. So I think sometimes, yeah, it's
like, I had a question on a recent, I do Facebook Lives all the time. And somebody's like, well, what if you don't have a large following like you, Jereshia? How do I start? I'm like, y'all, I started with 1 follower. Like, like my following, I don't think is that big. And like, when you compare it to all like these gurus out there, I had like 1,000, maybe 1,300 people on my Instagram, just from like personal stuff.
Yeah.
And I've had 500 people on my email list until like 2 months ago. Like, I just hit over the 1,000 people mark on my email list.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can make, I mean, if you think about it, if you have 12 people on your email list and they all purchase something that's $1,000, and they
there you go
on a basis. You making over 6 figures a year.
Yeah, like there you go.
If you have 10,000 people on your list, but none of them open your email, none of them actually have, none of them like, they don't even, they're not fans, like,
yeah,
you're just something that gets in the spam folder and swipe left and delete every day.
Yep, exactly.
So I'm with you on that.
Quality over quantity. So if you could go back and tell yourself something in that first week or month of starting your business, what would you tell yourself?
Oh God, be patient.
Patience.
I would say that's like the first thing that comes to my mind. I think the second is ask for help sooner. So, and maybe I think a lot of women probably struggle with this, or I mean, I did personally, just because I've always been like super independent because I grew up without my parents. Me asking for help feels uncomfortable, not because I don't think I need it, but because I like fearful of depending on somebody else to come through and follow through with something. Like, it's like big, and so I'm like working on my own little issues. That was a huge issue for me. And I waited, and I mean, I was getting progress, but really my business did not take off until I hired my first coach and really worked with somebody that made me, not only taught me strategy, but just investing in somebody else made me show up differently for myself, because I'm like, I'd be damned if I like don't make this money back.
Right.
It made me just go harder just by paying somebody else. Like, my level of commitment, the energetic commitment, was just a different capacity for me. But I didn't do that until October. And October is really when my business got going, of 2016.
Yeah.
So the idea of a business came in January. the Goal Getter group was like a small group coaching program when I started in March. And then October is when I got like, no, I'm going all in. I'm getting really serious about this. I would have invested sooner.
Yeah.
Like I would have asked for help sooner.
Mm-hmm. Was part of your, back in October with your coach, was part of your plan back then, were you starting, because I know you said you loved your corporate job. So back then, were you like, okay, I do love it, but I'm going to work towards leaving it? Or were you still back then like, nah, I'm just going to stay?
Absolutely not. Like I did not think that I was going to be leaving my job. Like I have my 15-year plan. And on my 15-year plan, I was like, I'm going to be a VP. I'm going to be a VP for 3 years so I can make those systematic changes. And then I'll quit and start my own consulting firm. That was like another 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So no, when I started working with her, the biggest thing is I want to scale my impact. So that's all I was focused on. I'm like, because the systems I have now are not allowing me to touch the people I know I need to be teaching. And I know what I'm doing just it's not effective.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm like, the idea of me quitting happened in April of this year. So like 3 months ago, I had hit my first, I had booked over $15,000 in the business. And I was like, ooh,
milestone.
And I was like, maybe this is like I think it was $13,000. And I was like, maybe this is just some luck, like some fluke thing that's happening. And I was like, all right, God, if I just do 5 figures in May and I do 5 figures in June, I will quit my job in July. And I did not think that was going to happen because I just thought it was some like, I don't know, the stars aligned.
Right.
And that's why it happened. But then God showed out, like not only hit the income goals, doubling, tripling those income goals. And then I'm like, I have to actually hold myself accountable to what commitment I just made.
You're like, dang it.
I know. So I was not planning on leaving because I loved my job. I loved the work that I was doing. And I still have a passion for corporate. Like I still want to make some of those systematic changes and have an impact and have some influence.
Mm-hmm.
So but I just did not know it was possible to make that type of money.
Right.
Working half the amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I didn't even consider it.
You're like, no, not even in the plan. But that's awesome that it happened. And again, you put in the work. Yeah. Like I know you weren't just like, oh hey, like no. I'm gonna like try this thing. Like I think that's a big difference. That successful entrepreneurs, they get a plan, they get help, and then they execute.
Yeah. And I've always had a goal of I want to make $1 million and give $1 million away by the time I'm 30.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm like, I can't do that off my corporate salary. I'm like, well, how can I make $1 million? And that still seems like bananas to me, but that's like what I'm shooting for. I want to be able to give $1 million away. So yeah, I don't know. It's like organically happening.
Yeah. Do you have like a particular, like, is there like a charity that you want to give $1 million or like several charities? Or are you just like,
my mentor asked me that a couple months ago. She's like, Jen, who do you want to give this money to? I'm like, I don't know the specific organization, but how I kind of envisioned it is I either want to support like sex assault survivors, mm-hmm. like domestic abuse survivors, either like paying off their rent for a year or I've always imagined the Goal Getter group turning into like this G school thing, like an alternative to college.
Nice.
So I thoroughly believe in like getting an education. I mean, I'm thankful for my engineering degree, but I think the way education and the way that we approach education is evolving and changing.
Yes.
And I think it's more of like this on demand, like download and like nugget sized pockets more so than I need to go for 4, 6, 8 years. Mm-hmm. There's certain industries that, probably will keep it that way. But I think for a lot of other individuals, you going to school for 4 or 6 years and having to do that for learning theory before you actually do any practical application, I don't think is the way we're going to, you start even seeing curriculum now is evolving and changing. Yep. So I've always imagined G School being like this global institute where people can come and like learn how to start a business and build something on their own, but like get an MBA, but like while you're actually doing it.
Nice.
So I've always seen myself like giving away scholarships or giving away grants. Like, I don't know why I want to do like these goal getter getaways where I just say like, ladies, pack your bags. I'm paying for your passport. I'm paying for your flight. I'm paying for you to just unplug and be human and just be a woman and not have any responsibilities for a week. Like, I
love that.
I need to figure out what org, or maybe I need to start my own foundation, but.
Can I be one of those first of the giveaways?
Yes, Jess.
I volunteer. You need to like beta test. So I volunteer.
I gotcha. I've always envisioned that. And I've always seen me just like starting schools all over the world.
Yeah.
For women and like helping, you know, just creating a different way to approach education.
Yeah. I love that. Big goals. You are all about the big dreams and I love it, but I love it.
Thanks.
It's so cool. So if you could go back, is there anything that you would do differently in your business? Like something sooner or
outside
change
of, like,
anything?
Getting help sooner, that'd probably be the only thing, but no, like I'm really like, I respect the process.
Mm-hmm.
I respect the journey and like all the things that I went through, like made me who I am now. So I don't believe in failure either. Like I just believe, you know, sometimes just shit doesn't happen.
Yep.
And you gotta pivot, adjust. It's just an opportunity for you to learn. But like even like kind of one of my sad moments is I tried to launch that small group coaching program for the third time, and I tried to actually charge what I thought it should have been worth, and nobody signed up. And it was like devastating. I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm trying to charge my worth and people don't want to pay. And partly it was because I didn't really understand the value I was even providing. So I wasn't communicating what it was. So why is somebody going to pay for something when I really don't even know what I'm selling?
Right.
But that experience made me like, you have to do something differently. That made me hire a coach. That made me shift my business model. That made me play differently. So I don't know if I would do anything differently. Like, and I think about all the sacrifices, because now I'm actually able to spend time with like my friends and my family on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm.
Before, if you didn't come over to my crib and bring your laptop with you, like, we really weren't kicking it.
Right.
And I had to say no so often, like, you know, to my little cousins, like to my little sister, to my friends all the time, to my grandma all the time. Just so I was working a 9 to 5 and having to come home, and I had very limited time to actually grow something, and then had even less time to just like be with myself.
Right.
So I don't know. I wouldn't do anything differently. I always saw the bigger vision. Like, these are short-term sacrifices. You're in this like race for the legacy and for the marathon. It's not the sprint.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have ate more Cold Stone, which is probably but
I'm with you on that.
maybe less Cold Stone. I don't know. But
no, always more ice cream. Always.
I would have got more. I would have asked for that extra brownie.
Yes, there you go. So I know you have some things that you're working on. So what's up your sleeve?
There's so many things going on right now, but the biggest thing that's coming out right now is Corporate Dropout, which I'm super stoked about. So I think, again, what I see lacking in the industry, there's so many people talking about you have to quit your job. It's either or. You can't do both, or you can't do both successfully. Or there are people teaching how to make money, but I'd see very few educating on like, all that stuff is cute, but like, what's the real? Like, nobody talks about, or I don't see enough people being uber transparent about really what's required for you to replace your income, for you to gracefully leave your job and into working for yourself, how to properly prepare for that, like how to manage expectations with your current 9 to 5 and not getting in trouble for building your business on the side.
Right.
Even just figuring out, is quitting your job really the best option for you? So I think people only see it's either you quit and you work for yourself. There's no other options.
Right.
Like, even though I quit my job, you know, they've now created a whole new position for me so I can still have impact at work. So you can always just readjust how your responsibilities and how your role looks in your current organization. Maybe go part-time, maybe go independent contractor. Like, there's so many other options. And I don't see people talking about that enough. like I said, I see at least what it feels like online, that you got to take this leap. And I'm the engineer in me. I'm like, have we evaluated all the risks? Procedures for all of these risk options? Like I needed more stability. So I built a bridge, like I mentioned earlier, and built this business that did replace my income. But it just empowered me to make better choices based off of what I truly wanted and what made me happy. So, and not like it has to be this go jump and just like pray it opens on the way down. Like, no, build a bridge and don't jump off of anything.
Yeah.
If you walk across. So that's kind of what Corporate Dropout is all about. And I'm super excited to be releasing it because it's just, I don't know, I get a lot of questions about that. Like, I'm scared to take a leap. I have family, I have kids, my spouse. We need the insurance from my job to cover their health issues. There's so many other options. So it's just all about defining what is your happy and how do you create a system that allows you to like live your dream life.
Yeah.
And if that includes you quitting your job, how to do that in an effective way where it's sustainable, where you're not going to have to quit and then have to go back. It's no more, it's taking all those halves away.
Right.
And allow you to have empowered choices.
I love it. So is Corporate Dropout a course or is it a coaching program or both?
It's going to be a 5-week like online digital course. And then there's going to be the option for people to kind of elevate into like the higher level and stay on with me for the entire year and get community and get support. So I think it's huge. And like, if I didn't have support, I would have lost my mind right now.
Amen. Same here.
Especially during this transition. Like I've called my business besties like daily. Like, I'm on an emotional roller coaster. Down, put your seatbelt on, you're okay. Over the hump. Like being able to have people to talk to about it who get it. So I think that's a really important piece. So that's going to be integrated in if anybody wants that additional support. But it's going to be a virtual DIY course if somebody wants to just take it kind of on their own. But there's also the option where they can have group calls with me and everybody else who's in the same boat right now, and then also just have access to an accountability partner or kind of like their dropout buddy. And
dropout buddy. I love it.
Dropping out is such a negative thing, and it's like drop out of the system to like enroll into your dream life, you know?
Yeah.
So there'll be both options.
Love it. That's so cool. That's so exciting. And I know a lot of people, like I have another business friend who worked in corporate and was, also doing her side business. And a lot of it, because she does so much, and a lot of us didn't even know that she was still working corporate. And then she was like, oh, like I decided I'm going to leave. And she actually quit in April, I think. Yeah, it was April. And we were like, wait a minute. Wait. You also work in corporate? Like, and so it's cool to see like people, they can still work. You can have both, and it's just deciding what's right for you. Yeah, like you said.
Everybody doesn't need to be a full-time entrepreneur. Like everybody's not cut out for this.
No.
It's like, I'm not even talking about like business success, like the mental, emotional thing you have to go through.
Oh my gosh.
Whirlwind.
And you're only like 3 weeks into like being full time.
Girl, I'm like, this is about to be for the next 3 years.
just wait.
I'm like prayer and meditation, like journaling a lot more.
Yeah.
Having the support, calling my friends, calling my mentors. But yeah, everybody's not meant for full-time entrepreneurship. Like kind of like I mentioned earlier, I think nobody should be living on one stream of income. Like I just don't think about how many bills we have. 10,
right?
15. You have one check coming in that does not change every 2 weeks. Like no. So I just think we should all have more financial freedom and flexibility. But if people do want that support and transitioning, that's what Corporate Dropout is all about.
Yep. Love it. Okay. So where can we connect with you to get more information on Corporate Dropout, plus all the other things that you have going on? Follow you on social media and all that jazz.
So you guys can find me on Instagram if you want to see more of like personal life behind the business, at Jereshia Hawk. Facebook, I do a ton of Facebook lives. I have a free accountability group for my goal getters on there. And I just really transparent about like the business journey and kind of just what's required on Facebook. So again, Jereshia Hawk. And my website where all my other goodies lie is JereshiaHawk.com. So you can find me everywhere online, Twitter, LinkedIn, probably stuff I don't want you to Google, but you can find my whole life on JereshiaHawk.com.
Love it. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. This was like so much fun. Like, I cannot wait. This was, I'm like, I want to do it again.